What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of V2 Sports. We told you on the last episode that it was going to be the Vanderbilt recap. Well, it's not. It's a very monumentous occasion for V2. After looking at the calendar, I realized that today marks 1 year of V2 being in your homes and in your ears. We want to thank you all for, keeping us in your life for the past year, and I know most of y'all haven't been here for the whole year. Just a quick backstory, and then we're going to get into some fun segments that y'all haven't heard in a minute due to past members. Just a quick story about V2. We started out as a Tennessee podcast, me, and I even brought him back for this episode, a familiar voice that y'all haven't heard in a while. Kerry, go ahead and tell the people what's up.
What's up, everybody?
It was me, Kerry, and another dude, and we started a Tennessee podcast on a whim. The first episode we ever did was a National Signing Day recap. I didn't speak for shit. I spoke 3 sentences, and that was it. And then the next episode, we interviewed Tennessee commit Jack Luttrell, and I had to carry that on my back. And as we grew, we interviewed more people, and finally, I guess it was April weekend or May weekend, me and another dude that I brought back, Dustin, I know y'all remember him, specifically the Dirty Dog segments, and we're going to get into a couple of those later this episode, went to a camp in Villa Rica, Georgia, and we got to meet a bunch of players from SEC teams, a bunch of recruits, and we realized, hey, maybe at the time it was called Volunteer Voice. I said, maybe we need to take this in a different direction, something to boost, engagement, reach a broader audience, something we enjoy doing. So that weekend, we decided, we didn't tell anybody else, that we were going to change it to V2 Sports and do all SEC. Well, we had an off month where all we did was, get everything planned, get new logos, get, new mics, new quality stuff. And we finally came to our first episode. Didn't even have all of us on there. Our first episode was a baseball episode with Kerry, with a very shitty graphic on Instagram. It was called Kerry's Corner. It was rushed. I was in Florida. What was I supposed to do? So throughout the summer, we start picking up some more. We interview some people. We pick up new members. We had a lot of, beautiful moments, specifically, when we were Volunteer Voice before we changed to V2, we had a certain member and a certain recruit go at each other, and y'all have never heard that episode, but for $5 on the website, if you want to donate $5, I will ship you that audio file, because it's great. It's a very revered Tennessee Instagram page too, but other than that, V2's been fun. As soon as Kerry's Corner dropped, I got a bunch of people wanting to join. I did some recruiting. I went and picked up none other than your favorite cock munch Jackson. Went and picked up Dan. And those two have stuck around for the longest, if I'm going to be honest with y'all, because y'all haven't heard Kerry or Dustin in a minute. Kerry's moved on to bigger and better things, and we can't be mad at him for that. Super proud of him, super proud to see where his life's taking him. And Dustin on his own, he just doesn't have time for it anymore either, because, who else is supposed to, be the chef at my wedding? Dustin's got a gift in that, and we give him the power to it. Hell, when V2 has their own office and we're all together, we're going to pay Dustin. We're going to ship him out. He's going to be our chef. He's got a gift, so we had to let him go chase the gift. We don't want to harbor his time. But speaking of that, we got Dane, we got Jackson. It took a couple of months. We picked up a lot of people in those months that were not good. A lot of bias shown. And then we get into September. And we pick up a member who couldn't show up tonight, but we're still very thankful for him. We picked up Jaron. Jaron was an absolute blessing in disguise for this podcast. He was a huge cornerstone in allowing us to grow and engage with more people. It was great. We had great times with Jaron. We had great interviews. And then we picked up Hunter. And Hunter might have asked to recruit on Father's Day, how he spent his Father's Day. And Hunter being, the dude he is, and he didn't know, we all had to sit here and listen to Hunter ask a recruit how his Father's Day was, and he said, well, my dad recently died. And that was one of the most awkward moments in V2's history, but we adapt and we overcome. Now let's go into October. We pick up Luke. And at the time, I decided, you know what, I'm taking V2 in another direction. Not not veering away from all SEC, but we gotta start taking over other parts of the market. And there was this company that we were competing with. Their name was Updog, and they had a website, and they were just popping people left and right. Well, guess what? We did the same thing. We went and got none other than Jake up there. Jake killed it. We started a website, and the website was meh at first, alright? We couldn't stay with a consistent schedule. We never had anybody that would really put their all into the writing. I wrote a couple of times, but hell, I'm the owner. I'm kind of having to format all these episodes and market and do all that fun stuff. But as we continue to grow, Jackson, in one of the best things he's done for this podcast, went out and basically found us our ringer. He found us our Rain Man. He got us Will. And as many of you know, Will left 2 weeks ago. He's got some other things going on. We're still praying for you, Will. Stay safe. Will did so much for this podcast in so little time that he was here. He's what allowed the website to grow. He's what allowed, to make the website bigger than the podcast, and it was amazing. And without Will, we wouldn't have been able to take out with the podcast and the website at the same time. That's why we got 2 to 3 articles posted a day. Now, it's been fun. We've brought Kyle back. This is Kyle's second stint with V2. He joined for 2 days, maybe a week at that. Told us he was going to go do his own podcast. Came back. We've got Cuzzo. Cuzzo's been here as long as Dane and Jackson. I forgot to mention that. He just doesn't speak, and hell, he just found a new reoccurring role as the crackhead dog. Smokey was a new, acquisition. So it's been great. We want to thank all of y'all for, tuning in. Whether it be 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week now. The growth could not have been possible without y'all. And before we get into the rest of this episode,
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dustin's over here just going ape shit. But before we get into the rest of the episode, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all the contributors I have. Okay, I want to thank you for your personal time, your family, everybody that's having to sit here and listen to you record on Sunday nights until you're tired, if you're asleep, if you're about to pass out. I want to thank y'all because the growth of V2 could not be possible without y'all giving your all. Okay, it's always been a dream of mine to do something like this, and it would not and could not be possible without all of y'all giving it your all. Even the writers. I know the writers are listening, and y'all did wonderful. Y'all keep doing great, and it's outstanding. So thank y'all for everything, and another thank you that I want to give out, because I know she's listening, is thank you to the new Miss V2. As many of you know, I got engaged over Christmas. She's had to sit here for the whole year and listen to me sit here and get off the podcast and look at her and be like, you know what, I'm firing some of these people tonight. I swear, I'm getting tired of their shit. They gotta go. Or she'd sit there and, she would celebrate with me every small growth we had on the podcast. Last month, we weren't doing anything, numbers-wise. We really weren't. And I was down. I mean, when they tell you running a business, and I know this isn't a business like running a store or owning 24/7, but when they tell you, you're watching yourself, you're putting in your all, you're running websites, you're running Instagrams, you're running Twitters, you're running TikToks, and the numbers just don't grow, it really takes a toll on you. And she had to sit here and listen to me, think about closing the doors on V2 countless amounts of times. And then the first episode in January, it just sparked up, and it sparked up higher than, Jackson when he thinks he still doesn't have to pay me that $44 fucking dollars he owes me. Now listen,
Jake. Why are you all changing the profile?
This is just a thank you to the families of the contributors as well. I know you've got your child at school nights. You're like, I really wish they'd get their sleep. And you've got Jackson over here. Jackson's up until 11:45 at night. Let me tell y'all this right fucking now. Shane Beamer's gonna lead South Carolina to a 10-win team next year. Top 5 in the nation, baby. Like, listen, if that was your child, I'd let him dream too. I'd let him stay up to dream and speak to everybody and, say their opinion. And
appreciate it, Jason. Appreciate it.
And it's just another huge thing. Like Dane and Jackson, you've always been here. You've sat here. You've been the board members. Luke's a board member now. Noah's a board member, and he couldn't make it. And what the hell is that? And Noah's a board member, so let's just go ahead and get on to the rest of the episode. It's not going to be a normal episode. This is basically just like a memories episode, speaking of the good times. So, anybody got any funny V2 moments they want to share that they can remember? Hell, anything.
I have a
story.
funny moment that just happened. I'm ready. It has nothing to do with V2, but Todd Grantham is basically guaranteed to be like Bama's dude, bro.
He's going to be their OC or their DC.
Their defensive coordinator. They want Grantham.
All right, let's get off of that.
This is another point.
Go for it, Luke.
Dustin is just progressively zooming in an image of Kyle in this podcast as his profile picture, and it's hilarious. He's not even changing the image. He's just making it more zoomed in every random 7-8 minutes. It's great.
I'm having fun just watching him randomly zoom in every 2 minutes. I'm like, hey, what the hell?
I saw Jake doing the same thing, and I was so confused that I saw it.
All right, so let's get.
Oh God.
Let's go into some stories. I know y'all got some. Jackson's provided us with a lot. Specifically, these. I don't know.
I got one from my first stint.
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
Hold on, Jackson. Kyle,
I got
what's
one
your
from
first
my first stint.
Go for it.
I remember I'd been hired as like a behind the scenes dude, and then y'all didn't have enough people to do like a podcast, so I came on and we did a really nice like 3 really nice podcasts together, and then I was like a little concerned about where I thought I fit in, so I left for a while, and then I ended up but, this was the right spot for me, so I'm glad to be back.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to go down the line and yank it out of y'all. Luke, what's your favorite V2 memory?
Okay, this isn't necessarily my favorite, but it's just funny. Like, we were recording some podcasts and we finished the first of a few because we were running like a good bit. This is like back in like November, December, somewhere around that area. And I just hear barely Jason's fiance like just go, "Stop!" Like he's talking to the dog, and I was like, "What's going on back there?" And I just hear, "Stop!" Like, "Oh no!" And I just hear this mad slide and thud, like just. It just goes silent, and through all of this, Jason is just talking about random bullshit, and it was just funny that he was the whole time was just like ignoring the chaos,
Dude,
while like his dog is trying to kill himself.
Dude, my dog's on crack. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you said it wasn't your favorite. I want to hear your favorite.
That's a good question. Are we talking like funniest moment or just like my favorite moment in general?
You can do both. We've got a lot of time to fill.
Yeah, Owen. Okay, so first favorite moment was probably like literally joining the actually it's probably also the funniest was joining the podcast, and a little story time for everybody who doesn't know. So essentially on Instagram, we run this thing called affiliates, where like they help pages, join and grow by giving them like everything they need in terms of followers and group chats for sources and templates and graphics and stuff to grow their page. And I was in one of them with Jason, who ran it, and he also ran it with somebody else who I just won't mention because screw him.
Different topic.
Yeah, true. And point is, I was feeling a little giddy. I don't know why. I just decided, you know what? This affiliate has like built a lot over these recent few months. They have a ton of people. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Dude.
Ton of talent. And personally,
I like this idea.
This is great. And personally, I was like, you know what? I want to see this affiliate crumble and fall. So I just tell every single affiliate member in the group chat to join another group chat without Jason and the other guy, and I tell them at like this time we're all leaving. And that's exactly what happened. I got the entire like affiliate just to leave and join my affiliate, and I wasn't really on good terms with Jason or the other guy for a good bit of time. And then eventually, as I like dropped that affiliate and kind of like just was done with all like Instagram pages and stuff for at least the moment, I was talking to Jason and he added somehow that got me added on the podcast. But it seemed like a really stupid move at the time, but I feel like it's been pretty cool going forward. But
Oh,
it was just pretty funny stealing all of his, members and all of his growth and all of his success
That's
like
not
that.
even the worst part. Like, I can't even get into some of that because Spotify will yank my account and YouTube will. But for me to give y'all like a slight rundown of this, there were like members leaving, and they were so caught up in the fact that they left with Luke that they just started sending me some real hateful ass shit. Like, somebody sent me my address, and I was like, all right. Listen, dog, this is Instagram. I'm tired. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm in the middle of working at my other job. It's busy. And some dude literally just sends me my address. I'm like, what the fuck? It was crazy. And then the worst part is we're sitting there, and the second Luke joined, I knew Luke had a gift. All right, he can talk. He's carried most of the basketball episodes. Him and Jackson. I'll get into a little intro on Jackson in a second. Luke was great, and the first thing I asked him when he joined is I said, listen, I take this podcast very seriously. This is like my baby. Are you going to double around and fuck me again and just take everybody to another podcast? He's like, no. And since then, I've moved Luke up. Luke's proven to me time and time again that he can do anything that I ask of him besides turn in graphics on time, because that's like his favorite thing to do is turn them in like 2 hours late and shit. But
Leap.
Luke's made his way up. If I'm out of town and there's somebody running stuff, it's Luke. Luke's basically my right-hand guy, but this next guy I'm going to get into because I know eventually everybody here is going to leave. Okay, I know you are. There's one guy here who actually has a true-to-God gift in the sports marketing world and the sports journalism world, and that's Jackson. Y'all might hear him and be like, you know what? Yeah, he's stupid. Well, he is. But it's a gift. Okay? If you've ever been in a group chat with a dude, you would think his parents played lawn darts, but he was the dart when he was a child. No, he's just really crazy sometimes. But he comes onto the podcast, he gives it his all. He carries the basketball episodes. Hell, there were some episodes that I couldn't make, and he's over here going crazy, and I'd have Dane recording it, and it was great. And there's nothing more than I can ask from somebody who's been here from start until the eventual finish that's nowhere near now. And it's Jackson. Jackson, you've done so much for the podcast. I don't know where to start with saying thank you, because you're going to be here for so much longer, and until you pay me them $44 fucking dollars, I'm going to be on your ass, and I'm not going to tell you thank you for shit, because sometimes you come on this podcast and you like really make me question firing you, and then I realize our Twitter would probably be ass without you. Hold on, this one's a little behind the scenes for everybody before I let Jackson disclose his favorite moment. About a month ago, we implemented a strike system, and it was no sending Twitter links into the group chats. And I said it like 8 times.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson's like favorite thing to do is just he sees something on Twitter, he's like, we gotta cover this, and he sends the link. Well, he sent it, and I said, Jackson, that's one strike. You're gonna face a 1 episode suspension. And Jackson, I guess, finally grew some nuts that day, and he told me, he said, you know what, screw the suspension, I'm out of here. And I sat there and I was like, okay.
It wasn't about that. That was about another thing. That was you got it confused with another thing.
Mm-hmm. Either way, he left for like an hour. All right, I went to go recruit some more South Carolina people, and I realized this Uncle Bo character that I bring on every now and then. This Uncle Bo.
He's smarter than most of them.
he's smarter than most of them South Carolina fans, so I had to go get Jackson back, and he's done great for us. So Jackson, I'm gonna go ahead and let you, take it away with your favorite V2 moment.
Dude, hey, before we get into that, I want to say that, man, I love this pod, and yeah, I did leave for a second, but it was only just because like I was so bad because of how like he did it at one thing, but we fixed it. We got all the problems over with, and I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things to do every like Sunday, every like recording day. It's fun. It's fun to cover all sports. I've always loved the major three sports for a long time. I've covered baseball, I've covered basketball, I've covered football. Usually I used to be really active on Instagram, but now I've grown more into pods and more into Twitter and everything. But yeah, that's why I run the Twitter. I've gotten slowly digressed off of Instagram, but I love covering sports all around. And I really enjoy this pod, and I want to take it to super far. I want to take the pod, and I want to take the website super far. It's one of my goals. And let's get into one of my favorite moments. It has to be the main one. It's when I put so much promise into South Carolina beating Florida and Bama going undefeated. I put in Bama going undefeated in the preseason takes. And dude, neither happened, man. Like it was like the worst. It was the exact opposite of what happened. And what makes it even worse is how Bama lost. I bet with Jason, like the $44 on like the Bama, everything to do with Bama going all out. And you know how they lost? Off of 2-point conversions. Off of 2-point conversions to LSU, and then they screwed up versus Tennessee. Off of a last-second play. Those games, no. It not only broke my heart, it broke my bank account. But I'm joking.
$44 broke the bank.
No, I'm missing. But besides that, I have to go into like last week. Well, it was either last week or the week before, because Luke, Luke, in the entire podcast, he's just making the most stupidest faces, and I'm just sitting here dying. My mic's on mute while Jason's going into the intro, and this man's like, and every time this man walks away, I always like mute my mic, and I'm like, dude, this shit's going down, and I start laughing. And also, Dane, whenever like everybody wants him, I just think this is super funny. When everybody wants him and he's always like away for some weird reason, it's like every minute. Like everybody's like, Dane, are you there? Dane, are you there? And he's just gone for like 2 minutes, and then finally he's like, yo, yeah, this is my thoughts on the game, yeah.
Yeah, if y'all haven't caught on by now, Dane just doesn't speak. Like, he'll speak when called upon. But speaking of Dane, let's go ahead and get into him. Alright, Dane has been a project. And I mean a project, my brother. Alright, we got you. You came on a couple of episodes. No, I made you a behind the scenes. I made you off air. I said, just share it. You're going to be a part of the marketing team. And it's like, okay. And I was like, you know what? Let's promote Dane up. Screw it. Promote him up. Can't get him to speak like the first 5 episodes. Can't get him to speak next 10.
No, not the first 5.
Hold on. No,
it definitely wasn't that, because Colton was my second.
Oh my! Did you ask Colton 2 fucking questions?
No, it was definitely more than that.
Well, speaking of Dane, there is like no introduction I can give for him, because Dane's just like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So Dane, go ahead and tell us your favorite V2 memory and moment, and I'll get into somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got to be when, I don't remember his name, I don't remember who we were interviewing, but it was an Auburn basketball player.
Oh my god.
And we go into this episode, and I have like 3 or 4 questions planned I'm going to ask him, and like 2 of them get taken. And I just start speaking, and all of a sudden I just zone out. I got no clue what I'm saying. I just like break out in the middle of the episode.
And there's reasons y'all have not heard that episode and will not. Like, some of the things y'all are going to hear us talk about, y'all have never heard. And that's because I cannot put them on air, because they're just bad. Like that episode,
Yeah, there's definitely been some bloopers.
Interview, and it was going so well, and then midway through, the person who was conducting the interview starts like dropping some stuff that shouldn't be dropped on a podcast. And then next thing you know it, Dane's asking him a question, and Dane goes, "So yeah, what's it like playing for Auburn basketball? I mean, their football program's really good, and they're going." And I'm like, "Dane, what the fuck are you saying?" Like that episode. Really
Yeah, I had
scared
no
me, 'cause
clue
I was
what
like,
was
maybe,
going on there
I was
with.
like, maybe Dane is like a drug abuser, and then I realized he's not. He's in his own world sometimes. It'd be some funny shit too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move on to another member. Let's go ahead and go with Dustin. What was your favorite memory? All right. See, he hated this shit. Oh no, he unmuted. Come on. What's your favorite memory?
He was too busy changing his profile picture. Again.
Favorite memory is whenever we went to the up to that Tennessee camp, or whenever we went to Tennessee to do all the interviews, and we went to see Shandavion, and who was that cornerback that was with him?
Ricky Gibson.
Do you remember whenever we brought him on the episode and we could not understand a word he said?
Oh my god. Okay. Like, I'll give it to him. That was his first public interview that he had that was on camera with a mic. It wasn't typed up. And we're like, the video is actually on YouTube. You can go watch it still. Alright? Dude, we get everybody up, and a little behind the scenes on that interview. That was the most budget ass interview we have ever done. So we
The
have
two
Dustin
word-
recording on his phone. I've got the TikTok interviewer type BS where they have the Apple headphones plugged into a phone and I'm speaking through the mics, and I hold it up and everybody's speaking, and we're having to basically match the vocal, like the audio and the video, match the lips, match the voices, and it was hell because every time Ricky would speak, it would be like muffled or he'd back away from the mic. It was pretty bad. There was one dude that we had, I think I know who you're talking about, Dustin. We had somebody that we didn't quite publish there on air. It was back right before, no, it was right after we changed it to V2. It was one of the people we met at Villa Rica.
Yep.
We tried to speak to him, and like they gave us some great answers, but no. Like, he answered some questions very inaccurately. We asked him what his goal was in college, and he's like, "I want to win a state championship." And I was like, "You
A
going
state
D2?
championship in college?
You going D2, brother?" Well, either way, Carrie, I'm gonna let you give your favorite moment, your funniest, whatever you enjoyed the most about V2.
I would say one of the things I enjoyed the most was vouching against the Tennessee topic to get Kerry's corner. We had a nice little argument going there because he didn't think that baseball was important enough, and I loved baseball at the time. So I was doing everything that I possibly could just to try to get a segment and then try to put it through Jason's head and Dustin's head that baseball deserved its own segment, even if it was 5 to 10 minutes and possibly a singular episode every once in a while. So that was probably one of my favorite parts.
For me to go onto this train that Carrie's talking about with topic, we had, right when we switched to All SEC, it was the team of me, Dustin, Carrie, and Topic. I'm not going to drop his name because that's just uncalled for. But in that time, any prepubescent child or any, 18-year-old male that was a dense-brained person had this weird infatuation with Livy Dunn. And I said, "We're going to do All SEC." And he goes, "Cool. I'm going to go get Livy Dunn." And I go, "No, you're not." He goes, "Why not?" I said, "Dude, nobody here is going to listen to that. Nobody's going to care because it's straight SEC. We cover the big three. We cover basketball, baseball, football." He's like, "No, Livy Dunn would get a line of numbers." He's like, "I know her." And I'm like, "No, you don't." He felt, no, Carrie, Dustin, I know y'all can vouch for this. Every time he would tell us he knew somebody, he would come back with an excuse like 2 days later and said, "Yeah, their management said they were busy, but they'll get back with us." Like, no, they wouldn't. But for the last person I'm going to get to, Jake, you've kind of been AFK. So I'm going to let you slide out for a minute. I'm not going to ask you your favorite moment. Well, actually not. Give me your favorite moment.
All right. Probably, and I'm just I need to change my profile picture for this. I'm just gonna say my first episode.
Yeah.
the Jackson Mr. Clean episode.
Mr.
Dude,
Clean.
I came into it knowing nothing at all, and I just joined in, and everyone has their profile pictures as Jackson bald, and it made me just feel like this was going to be really fun to do, and I mean,
This is your home.
yeah, and I'd probably say another one has to be the Mizzou, the Ray Ann
Oh, with Uncle Bo.
segment.
Why you talking about
Uncle
Uncle Bo there, boy? Why you talking about Uncle Bo like that? Yeah, I made
That was
Bill.
my first episode. That was my
Did you
first
get the
episode
bell, Bo?
listening in.
Yes, I bailed. Well, yes, my nephew. Well, not even my nephew. This
I
weird
thought you
man
weren't
that
coming
I'm
back to
friends
the
with.
South Carolina episode.
Alright, listen, he bailed me out. I'm one of the cast members. I'm allowed to come fucking speak, you cock much. Don't speak to me that way.
And I mean, I'm so glad I came here over Updog because this is just so much more professional, and like I'm glad that Jason reached out and offered.
Can I get my thoughts about Outdog real quick?
Go for it.
What's up, dog?
Okay.
A very shitty
First-
website.
First off, for those who don't know Updog, so everyone, it's basically this website that lasted for maybe a month, and it was literally just a bunch of like random pubescent 13-year-old children who were writing articles with a crap ton of just poor grammar, no efficiency or execution, their paper, and like it was just really bad. And the worst part was we try to uplift people at V2. I don't think they got the memo on that in terms of what they were trying to accomplish, because it seems like whoever they had, they were more holding back in bringing down. Especially the leader, because dude doesn't really do anything. He constructed the website probably through like Weebly or something, and then that's it. He built the website and then just said, okay, everybody go write whatever you want. So essentially, he didn't really do anything. He just provided a service in which other people could write wherever they want. And at the end of the day, if you wanted that, go just to your local team's Discord or Reddit server, and you can find the exact same stuff there. So basically, they were just a glorified Discord server, except it was even shittier info because it was already stuff that was known. Like if the paper was on like, or if there was like an article or something on Georgia, here's about how it would go. Georgia beat TCU because they scored more points than TCU. Their offense was electric. They threw the ball. They ran the ball. It was really impressive. Stetson Bennett was the quarterback, and also, Todd Monken was there and present. Also, their defense had Jalen Carter and Ringo, 2 draft prospects. We should look out for them. Well, that's all I got. Go Dogs. And it was kind of just a waste of time. I never really read much of what they had, if at all, because it's very difficult to, considering it's hard to understand as well as enjoy. It's incredibly boring, so
Well, speaking of
waste of
Updog,
time.
that was actually the first time I had to pull like a straight power move. They started DMing people from V2, and they pulled a couple of members from V2 over there, and they kept
They did.
DMing. And I was like, you know what? I'll let it go. They'll grab some people. It's okay. Businesses lose people every day. And then they just started going after everybody. And I filed a cease and desist on Updog, and he was like, you can't file a cease and desist because I'm, asking people. I'm like, no, with me filing this, I pretty much can, and this states it. And he was like, well, they're not V2 Sports. I said, actually, here's where you got it wrong. Everybody signed something basically saying, yes, I am a part of the conglomerate that is V2 Sports. I am a member. I am a well-functioning contributor. So therefore, we're all V2 Sports. V2 Sports is not just me. V2 Sports is all of us. V2 Sports is the relationships we've made with each other. Hell, some of these people, even after V2's over with, I'm going to continue to have a relationship with because at this point, they're brothers. Alright? Hell, I've already asked a couple of them to be groomsmen in my wedding. The fuck? But I got into trouble with them, and then we basically soloed their market. And we've soloed a lot of markets. and this is no disrespect to you, Kyle, none at all. We love you. When you left to create your own podcast, you were public enemy number 2. And we sought out to just yank the Georgia market from you. Because it's a business.
Kyle, you want a cookie?
And then
I'll just.
Now I'm
There
back
you go.
to help with the Georgia market. So yeah, I remember before I joined, I had relationships with all of y'all, or most of y'all. So
Oh.
I was like, it was so nice to get back into it. So
And then, I look
Take
and
the
I'm like,
cookie.
oh my God,
take the
Kyle
I'll
cookie.
just take the
Kyle
cookie.
hasn't
On, I'm
posted
handing
a
it to you.
podcast in over
There you
a
go.
couple of months, or maybe a month. And I was like, are you still doing your podcast? He said, no. I said, well, come back. We really need
Another
you.
cookie.
Well, it was really fun, and V2's been definitely a roller coaster. Don't think I'm ending the episode right here, because we got to do one more thing that we haven't done since like June. Many of y'all are new.
Boom.
Many of y'all are new that are listeners and members, and we used to have this segment called the Dirty Dog. All right, since Dustin is not a mainstay member of V2 Sports, he's allowed to show his bias. He's a Georgia fan. If you listen on the past episodes, this dude eats, breathes, and shits Georgia. And I'm not lying to y'all. Some of that shit be red. But, Dustin, do you remember how the Dirty Dog segment would go down?
It's been a minute, but I can remember most of it.
You would go around and you would say something. I guess you can just blanket it to all SEC teams now. But, like, you've got to ask it from a Georgia fan point of view. Like, you got to just, like, well, how do you feel like this? Like, it was a really weird segment, but everybody loved it. So we're going to try to do it one more time, and if it fails, it fails. Oh, well. It was a one-off. It's the last time we get to do it anyway, because Dustin will come back for the 2-year anniversary, and we'll have something even better to do then. So, Dustin, you want to lead us off with it?
Sure. So who's in here is a Georgia fan? If it's not being biased.
I am.
Who said I am?
Kyle.
Kyle.
It's Kyle.
Okay. How does it feel being back-to-back champions, and how does it feel to see your team win not one but 2 national championships in your lifetime?
It feels
Considering
so good.
most of these people in here haven't.
All right, listen, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge and give you a big, fuck you. All right. There's only one person in here who's watched their team. There's 2 people in here that have watched their team win a national championship, and that's not Luke. Luke, you can't claim that shit. And it's Cuzzo. Luke, you shut your ass up. You weren't a Florida State fan until 2 years ago. You were a Mississippi State
Watch
fan.
the game. I watched the
Are
game.
you forgetting me? Are you forgetting me? I watched South Carolina win the national title in women's basketball, bro.
All right, you know what? Hold on.
We're so
Women's
proud of you,
sport.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all. I love.
It's not wrong.
Listen, I love y'all to death. I really do. But some of the shit Jackson says, I'll see y'all later. I need to take a break. Just give me 1 second, y'all.
I feel like you need a cookie.
Did he just leave?
Screamed like his quarterback just tore his ACL again.
Dude, why is this voice mod breathing thing not cutting off? Thank you, God, Lee. Wait a minute. What did you just say about somebody's quarterback in their ACL?
That you scream like somebody's quarterback just tore their ACL.
Shit, at least my quarterback doesn't have an alcohol problem at 25.
Nah, he's half a 50.
He's half of 50. He can do it. All right,
He's
listen,
about to.
you've got a Florida contributor in
Well,
here,
hold on. Your quarterback is almost 20. He is 25 as well.
but he doesn't have an alcohol problem, does he?
No, he has
Yeah,
an
but
Right.
ACL
it's
problem.
a Rattler problem.
His
Yeah.
career didn't get ruined because of alcohol problems.
All right, listen, you can target the following fan bases because that's what contributors we have in here. You can target South Carolina, FSU, and Florida, and Texas A&M. So go for it. We're all here to hear your
That
random
one's easy.
bullshit.
Let's see, Texas A&M. We're just gonna steal smoke away from y'all. Florida State. You're only a Florida State fan because you like Jordan Travis. South
No,
Carolina.
because I go to the
South
school.
Carolina gets one good win a couple years ago and rips the hedges apart. After that, they just been dog shit.
It
So
was 2 good wins. Get it right.
And Florida, how the hell do you allow 21 points and 2 minutes and before halftime 2 years ago?
That was awesome.
When I'm in to only succeed in one sport competition and my opponent is the Georgia Bulldogs.
When I'm get boosters to send money for the athletic department and I only send money to football and my competition is Georgia. Listen, y'all don't understand
When I'm in
how hard
alkali-
it is to make these like graphics sometimes. Me and Kyle are over here trying to get a graphic for this finals post on the V2 Instagram page.
Oh,
No, so like we're trying to find the
You listen?
video. We're trying to find the video, and Georgia has this low quality ass 1980s camcorder that they have a recording of the game, and it was just
There's-
atrocious.
You can't blame them. They're putting all their funding towards NIL deals because
Yeah, they put
like
clips on Twitter, so I had to just find a clip from the game, like the actual recording.
there's some schools though that really have some poverty like recording equipment. Like they'll have nothing.
Yeah, I remember last basketball game that I posted for Georgia. Their the
Basketball.
South Carolina game. I was posting like a clip from there for the final post,
Mm.
and it wasn't a great like quality thing.
When it gets converted to Insta, it's kind of hard to like keep the quality up. Like
Mhm.
unless you're posting from like a laptop and you downloaded the video, it's a lot harder to retain any quality.
All right, hold
It
on.
wasn't absolutely horrible, but it wasn't like high end quality. So
Dustin mentioned earlier.
BRB.
How does it feel about your core?
One
Hold on, Luke.
second.
Hold on, Luke. You might want to stay for this.
I
I'll
need
go-
food.
Hurry up, then. I'll push the story off.
Yeah.
Go. All right, listen. Earlier, Dustin mentioned about a quarterback with a torn ACL. All right, Jackson is our South Carolina contributor. Our much loved cock munch, you know that. So me and him had a lot of shit to say to each other after that game. And the one thing I have to say, and y'all have heard me say it once before, and I'll say it again, is V2, like publicly, we will support Shane Beamer with whatever the hell he does. Because I don't care if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're a South Carolina fan, if you watch that game and you just watched a quarterback who's having a career year, like he's balling out, and you watch his career just go like down the drain because he tore his ACL. And the first thing you see is not his own team's coach and staff running up to him. It's the opposing team's head coach running over there and begging with him and pleading with him and trying to get him up. At this point, it's not about being a fan of your favorite team. It's a love for the game. And that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But going back to what I'm saying now that Luke's back, that game, okay, if you watched it, Hendon Hooker's ACL tears, and like they do for any injury, they'll cut to commercial break. All right.
Whopper.
Literally, I did not need to watch Hendon Hooker's ACL get torn
Chicken,
while I'm at
chicken,
work,
chicken.
and like I'm watching it, and it cuts to commercial break, and you just hear Burger King Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Single, and it's just some like that shit is
it's at the
etched in
worst
my mind
times,
forever.
man.
But there's
It's
a
like
couple.
it's rigged, bro. They do it at the worst times, at the
It's
worst
the
possible
James
time.
Jaws of commercials.
And it's been great. As we're starting to close the episode out, you boys have become a family. Okay, some of you more than others. Some of you I give more shit than others. Luke, with you co-running it and never turning your shit in on time, it's been like that. And I guess since he left, but he'll hear it when he hears the last little bit of this episode. I don't know where he went. Jake, I want to let you know, if we had a competition for who almost got fired the most, you would be at number one. But we still love you. Now, there's a couple things. I know I started it a couple days ago with the sayings in every episode, something for you to ponder on before we close out. And it's one that I saw recently that really stuck with me, and I guess it's my mindset about the podcast. So, if you ever want to get to the point in your life where you want to buy something without looking at the price tag, you've got to be able to work without looking at the clock. And that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? Sometimes most of us are up until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, formatting episodes, getting graphics ready, handling the website, making sure it doesn't crash. Everybody here is giving their all, and we have nothing but gratitude for all of y'all that keep listening and keep the publishers from like, listen, y'all got to stop because y'all are holding up contract spot. Listen, We thank y'all so much, and the website, all the people that are going over to the website, the constant readers over there. We love y'all so much, and I guess this is gonna be a little, I guess an audible I'm gonna call right here. Everybody that's in here, I need you to unmute your mic. Well, not right now, but when we go to do the sign off, I'm pretty sure everybody remembers the famous sign off. We're all gonna give it together. Is Jackson still in here?
Yes, I won't butcher it this time. I know.
All right.
If it was Jackson's sign, if it would be good after or good morning,
Good
good
evening.
evening,
Shut
All right.
up.
good night.
So
Shut
before
up.
we get
The
into
beat.
that, let's go ahead and talk about our sponsors. Uh, remember to use code V2 Sports for 10% off at Dubby. It's amazing. It's low sodium, low sugar. It's jam packed with vitamins, and it's perfect for any gamer. It's perfect for workout, pre workout. It's amazing, and it's even perfect for just daily nutrition. So make sure you check that out. They got a lot of wonderful flavors. You just pour it in the water, mix it, and you're good to go. And then make sure to use code V2 Sports on SeatGeek with a new account, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase on the new account. And that's pretty much
Wait,
all
can
we
already
got.
have an account.
If you use either of the codes, I will personally construct a customized NFT of Bald Jackson for you guys. So there you go.
I'll make a Spencer Rattler poster for whoever does it.
Jackson, we've seen your Spencer Rattler posters. Now, everybody unmute yourself. Kyle, I'm talking to you. Dustin, I'm talking to you. Dustin, I hope you remember how to do this. If not, it'll just add for the memes.
I remember it.
All right, on three, everybody. 1, 2, 3. And as always, good morning,
Good
morning,
morning,
Good
good
afternoon.
afternoon, and
and
good
good
night.
night from the
Me
V2
too.
The
group.
V2 crew.
Thank you for sitting with us for over a year. We really enjoy it. We appreciate it. And here's to a couple more years before I inevitably stop doing this. See y'all.